Hey, badass. Welcome to today's live tea session. I've got my iced tea ready. And today we are talking about cycle syncing in business. If you're not familiar about what the live tea session is all about, I have this series called Tuesday Tea. And in the Tuesday Tea, I share like the sassiest side of myself and talk about these things that are just on my mind, but are usually related with helping you move forward, build the life you want, but the gentle way, because we're done with the hard way. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me, Tammy, Leslie, Olivia. Say hello in the comments if you want. Let me know how you're feeling. So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about cycle syncing in business. This is based on an article that I shared earlier this week that's about the shamification of low energy. And in this article, I talk about the importance as women to honor our energy cycles. As women, we don't go on a 24-hour cycle. We are like the moon. So the article talks about it. And I talk a little bit about cycle syncing. But I was like, okay, so this Tuesday tea, what I want to do is actually to help you understand how cycle syncing has been helping me in my business, right? Because cycle syncing, and if you don't know what cycle syncing is pretty much aligning your life, your business, whatever you are working on with your menstrual cycle, right? It is true that some women don't have a menstrual cycle or they don't have it anymore. And in this case, what you would follow would be the moon cycle. A lot of women do that. Or you can simply just journal about your energy cycles, keep a journal, and then figure out how your energy fluctuates normally. And then you plan your life around it. And one of the things that I did was I started to plan my business around cycle syncing. But I want us to go back. And if you want in the comments, let me know. Have you heard about cycle syncing? Do you cycle sync? Do you try to cycle sync? Do you want to know more about it? Let me know everything in the comments. And if you're catching this on the replay, comment hashtag team replay. You know, I always love when you do that. Okay, so let me take you back a little bit in time because for the longest time, I wasn't familiar with the term of cycle syncing, and I didn't even know about um, energy cycles and all of that, the phases of my menstrual cycle. I was really living in a bubble, and I think that any woman, I am 40 years old, right? So any woman of like 40 and above, you probably until like 5, 6 years ago, you probably didn't even heard about it. You probably didn't even hear about it. And you were just like, okay, whatever, I have my period and it is what it is. And I have to push through, right? So about 5 to 6 years ago, I was listening to one podcast, I was just, oh, this is interesting. They're talking about menstruation, whatever. So I tuned into this podcast and this woman was talking about the different phases that we go through as women. She was talking about how, your cycle starts at menstruation and then you should rest. And then the follicular phase starts and you regain your energy. And then there's the ovulatory phase. That's when you are on freaking fire and you feel like this is the best version of yourself, right? And then you hit luteal phase and your energy starts going down and your body starts getting ready to, for your period to come. And I was like, oh my God. First of all, and if you can relate to me, just drop me in the comments as well. Drop it in the comments. Like I just felt an immediate sense of like, oh my God. Oh my God, like this is what's happening. This is what's happening with my body. I'm not crazy. I'm not lazy. I am not too sensitive. This is what's happening to my body every month, right? So from then, I started, paying more attention to how I was feeling. And I started to try and navigate my life in a way that honored my cycles a little bit better. So it's funny because when I understood this, I was like, oh my God, freaking society. We are living on this 24-hour cycle that is made for men. It's not made for us. right? And we have all of these expectations about how we should perform every day the same with the same energy, as if we are, run on, like men. They wake up like high testosterone, let's go, and in the evening the energy goes down, right? We're a little bit like that, but our main thing is the cyclic energy, right? Um, so I was still working at the school. I was a primary school teacher, and I wanted to become a full-time business owner. I was running my coaching business to the side, and I decided that, you know what, like, coach, teaching little children. It was nice, but it wasn't my passion. I knew that I wanted to do something different. Everybody at school knew I wanted to do something different. When they've met me, I was doing, coaching people and doing yoga already. So it was a very well-known fact. But I have decided, after listening to this podcast and doing my research and diving into the books and more podcasts and journaling about my energy, that I wanted to live a life. And I know that I told you I was going to talk about business, and I'm going to go there. But I wanted to live a life where I was honoring my energy, where I was honoring my cycles. I was tired of pushing through. I was tired of like having to pretend I have the energy when I don't have. Because a lot of times it's not about, okay, you are on your luteal phase and you don't do anything. For example, now I'm on my late luteal phase and here I am doing this life, but I'm not forcing myself into doing a bunch of things. So anything that is urgent, I didn't do today. Okay. Anything that it was just like taking too much of my energy, I didn't do today. And the cool thing is, like, I have all of this planned out. That's the cool thing about it. So, and I will remember I was dragging myself to school and I was taking pills. And like, if you can relate to this, like, please raise your hand, because I was taking all these pills to be able to perform at school when I should actually be resting at home when I was on my period, right? Like, as women, come on, come on. So I have made this decision to um, transform my life and just plan my life around my energy. And I know how some of you may probably, you're going to listen to this and you're going to be like, well, like, can you really do it? Can you really, really? Because I mean, we still live in a 24-hour kind of society, right? You can't do everything that you want always and all the time. And I'm here to tell you that yes, you can. It's not going to be perfect all the time, but at least you are not pushing through all the time either. Because the thing, when you're not honoring your cycle, it's just exhausting. It's just exhausting in general. You go to work exhausted, you do your passion projects exhausted, because you are going against your nature. You are going against what how your body is supposed to do. And for me, for example, me being as someone who has been through a lot of trauma and all of that, I have a sensitive nervous system. So for me, it was not only about, okay, let me just honor my energy. It was just like, this is just another layer that if I take care of this, I'm really going to be okay, you know? So I was scared as well, especially when I quit school, because at school I was cycle syncing, but I was cycle syncing in a way of like, okay, I do have to show up for classes. For example, let's take a talk about the luteal phase, which is the phase before your period. I was I was going to work every day, and you just like, you can't miss a class, right? So what I did when I was like before my period and stuff like that, I would plan my classes knowing that I would have low energy. So that's where I was doing these games where kids would just go on the computer and press a button and answer something in the board, and I wasn't so actively just like having to give my all. And then when I finally quit school, which is about 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago, full-time entrepreneur, so proud of myself. Um, so when I quit and I started my business full time, I was like, okay, I am doing this thing. I am doing cycle syncing, and I am going to really give it a try. And I was scared, I was really scared, because as most of us, as any women and men on earth, I thought I really had to work hard. I thought that, like the only way for your business to succeed is to work hard. Like you wake up, you work hard, and then you go to bed and you rest and you repeat the other day. So it's really counterintuitive in the beginning when you're like, oh shit. Like, so, okay, so I'm going to go really, really hard when I'm in my follicular phase. And then I am going to slow down in my luteal phase. And I'm not going to lie, those first months, 4 years ago, where I was just trying to really slow down in the luteal phase, where I was just so used to going hard all the time, it was weird. It was weird, right? But the thing that really helped me was to know that, first of all, if you are really doing a bunch of things because you do have the energy, when it comes to your luteal phase and you have to chill, I mean, if you just let go of the limiting beliefs and all these nonsense that we believe about how we should be performing, then it's totally cool because like you've done all that. So I've learned to, in practice, that you're, you honoring your cycle is actually very effective. And the main thing that I have learned is that each phase has a superpower. I mean, don't we love it when we are like in our ovulatory phase and we're like, yeah, girl, we just want to go out and start stuff and our mental health is amazing, right? That's one of those things that I also understood that like before my menstruation, uh, my mental health is not really good. And it's not because I haven't done the healing or whatever, it's just hormones. And just the fact of knowing that, and it's so much different now, my life, navigating it, knowing that, you know what, you just luteal girl. It's fine. Just breathe in and out. Most of the times it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but it is what it is. I am human, right? So I was really scared. And if you're thinking like, oh my God, how am I going to honor myself? How is all of this coming together? Trust me, it will come together. You will be able to figure out a way to navigate it, whether you have a career or you have a business. But obviously, if you are your own boss, this is easy. You just have to move some pieces around and figure out, okay, how do you feel in each phase of your cycle? And then what are the main things you can do in each phase of your cycle? Because I'm not saying we're just going to be like this during our luteal phase. But do you know how powerful the luteal phase is for you to organize yourself, right? So if you do this right, you organize yourself during the luteal phase, and when follicular come, you're on freaking fire. Like you're ready to go, and nobody's going to know if you're cycle syncing or not. We're just going to know that you are a freaking badass and hella productive, but you're just doing things in a different order. So this is one of those things that I am going to go really deep inside of my premium subscription, the Gentle Badass Academy. But I want to tell you also about what is it that shifted in my business and in the way that I work in my business. So you can like really see what happens when you do this work, when you really commit, right? Not only just when you're like, okay, I'm aware I have a cycle, because I like that we go, I call myself your coach for what's next. I'm like, okay, you know about your cycle. Okay. How are you going to use this to actually improve your life and your business? So what happened for me, first of all, less anxiety, less stress, less pressure. Immediately, because it's like, for example, today I'm on my luteal phase. I'm tired AF. I'm showing up as I am. Right? For me, it created that acceptance that when I show up and I connect with you, it's just, imagine if I was here trying to just be all energetic and all the same as I'm always am. It really helped me with less anxiety, less stress, less pressure, and also staying consistent, because instead of me waiting to be follicular and ovulatory and all energetic, I'm like, no, how can I still show up even when I'm in this phase, and what's the best way to show up? For me, it was just letting go of pressure and just show up with the energy that I have in the day, and trust that that honesty and that authenticity is enough. And like you being on this live with me, which I really appreciate, and Gaia joined us as well. Yay! which I really appreciated. I think it's proof that, you know, I am creating this entire community around just being honest and showing up as I am, right? And this is going to obviously impact my business. So less forcing, less pushing through. Um, I mean, that's what we do, right? We push through every day, every week. We tend to push through because we think that that's what's going to be helpful. But if you have been following the Gentle Badass, or if you have been following me for a while, we all have had these conversations about how pushing through is not helpful at all. And for me, starting to cycle sync was that opportunity to actually not push through, because it was on my calendar. And when you do cycle syncing, it's like you actually create a plan. Nowadays, I'm going to be honest, like for me, this is really automatic. And if you're thinking like, oh my God, this is so complicated, like this is going to be so automatic for you. It's going to be, I don't even think about it. If somebody's like, Erica, do you want to do a live with me and a collab? I'll be like, okay. And I'll look at my schedule and I know exactly where to put it, you know? So me having that, that vision that's zooming out and looking at my calendar and being like, oh, okay, this is where I'm going to do this is and that. I'm not pushing through because like, I'm not going to do more than it's there. Sometimes I do. I'm human. But in general, there's just less of that energy. And the thing that really affected like the most, because all of the other things are like emotional, psychological, it's just things that I have been working for years. But for me, in the efficiency and the consistency and the systems, just the systems in general, because we tend to see consistency as doing one thing every day the same way with the same consistency, like with the same intensity. And me cycle syncing, I understand that I am going to probably write 500 words every day of the week, probably when I'm follicular and I'm ovulatory. But then I just take my goalpost and just be really realistic about it and be like, girl, like you're not going to have energy over here. So it allowed me to stay consistent in time because I don't go through these, okay, I'm going to do this and this is going to be amazing, and then crash and then having to start over again because I didn't honor my energy. So basically almost all the time, I say almost because let's be honest, we're human over here, but it creates that ease into your systems. Because how many of you have tried to implement a system where a coach, a mentor, somebody who you have seen online has this structure and it's like, okay, you got to do this every day. This is how you do it. And if you have different energy every day, or at least every week, your energy is changing, you're not going to be the same every day. So the way that I implement systems, I make them my own. I make them according to my energy, and it allows me to show up all the time. I'm always showing up. And it's funny because sometimes people are like, Erica, you're on fire. You're always on fire. I'm not. I'm not always on fire. I just take advantage of the energy cycles that I have. And lastly, one of the things that really improved was, I just experiencing less guilt when I rest. Less guilt and just really knowing that, you know what, I have done, like I was telling you at the beginning. So if you do a bunch of things and you really give it your all, because a lot of cycle syncing is really just harnessing the power of each phase. So if you harness the power of your follicular phase, and if you harness the power of your ovulatory phase, you'll be on the luteal phase, you'll be chilling, And if you harness the power of your luteal phase, then when you get to your follicular phase, you are going to be on fire. And you see how this is how we are. Like, do you understand the power? Can you tell me in the comments, like, do you understand the power of this? And this can really change your life and your business and the way you show up in your business. And if you struggle with being consistent with something, try and honor your energy and you will find yourself being consistent, because most of the time it's not because you lack discipline or anything. It's just that because you are trying to uphold to do a pedestal of how things should work, And it doesn't work like that because we're human. We're human. We're women. We're also human. We're women and we are magical. And there is magic in every single phase of your cycle. Love that. Let me grab a little bit of tea. And is this making sense, tribe? So this is how it changed things for me in business. And I truly believe that if I wasn't honoring my energy and cycle syncing, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be still standing after 4 years of quitting my job. I would probably not be here standing because I would probably burn out the way that I was doing things. So that in and of itself is just enough. Not to mention the way that I can help my clients now. I'm so connected with my own energy and blessed with having all this knowledge of the powers and the superpowers of each phase that I can now help my clients and help the members of my academy to really harness, because sometimes people come to me with all of these dreams and all of the things that they want to make happen. But the way that they are trying to do this, and it's not their fault. And if this is you, it's not what's happening. It's not your fault. It really happens. That was me, and that is still me some days of the week, right? But they are trying to achieve things by brute force and forcing themselves and pushing themselves all over the edge, where when they could be softer, more gentle, and still freaking kick ass. Like, because you truly can. I don't know how to really help you understand this and really, I just get excited about this because this knowledge just gives you so much power. And we think sometimes that we are only powerful when we have all the energy in the world. And it's not true. It's not true. Low energy days are so freaking powerful. Are so freaking powerful. That's why this article was called The Shamification of Low Energy, because low energy days, we get annoyed, but they are so powerful. And you can really, if you harness the power of these days, like, you're going to be freaking like unstoppable in your business and in your life. So this is what changed for me. This is why I'm so excited about cycle syncing. And this is one of the reasons, well, not one of the reasons, it's the only reason why I am doing inside of my Gentle Badass Academy, which is my premium subscription here inside of Substack. I'm dedicated the entire month to helping you harness the power of each phase of your cycle. And as I said in the beginning, if you don't have a menstrual cycle, you can follow the moon cycle or you can follow your own energy cycles. You just have to journal about it. And the cool thing is that I am going to teach you to do all that inside of the academy, like all that. We are going to start the month with some prompts to help you journal about your own energy cycles. Because if there's one thing that I do inside of the academy is not only giving you the tools and the information, but helping you really understand how you can use it for yourself, like in your practical day-to-day life. So I don't want to give you the phases of of the cycle and just be like, this is what happens on week 2, this is what happens on week 1. I really want you to have some knowledge of your own energy cycle. So that's where we are going to start during the month. So you can kind of experiment and noticing, okay, look, I'm at this phase. This is what's happening, right? That's where we are going to start. After that, we are going to have a workshop, a full-on workshop, where I am going to teach you everything about each cycle, each phase of your cycle. And that includes also having like a parallel with the moon cycle so everybody can follow along. Okay. And in this workshop, we are not only going to talk about, okay, so here's your cycle and whatever. We are actually going to craft a plan so you can start planning your life around your cycle. Yeah. We're going to get really, really practical. And as if the workshop is not enough, inside of the academy, we always have Q&As and we have what we call our get your shit together gently sessions, which are basically co-working sessions. So you can bring your plan along. You can show me what you are thinking about, how you want to work around it. So this is not like, okay, so we're going to talk about the cycle. Here's the cycle, whatever phases, and okay, you're good to go. Now, inside of the academy, we're really going to make it yours. You're really going to be able to implement it in your business. This is one of those things that I can't do in a training. Like I need to be talking. I can't do in a live like this. I need to really talk to you, right? So you can show me, okay, Erica, you know what? This is like the strategy that I have to acquire clients. How can I honor my cycle here and there? And I can tell you on the spot, right? But I need to be with you face to face. So that's why I'm doing this inside of the academy. And this gets me so freaking excited because inside of the academy, I get to share all of these things with you. So this is what we're going to do in August, but obviously you can join from today because we opened the academy last month. Yeah, last month, no, this month, July. And we are currently doing a 21-day challenge, Make the Move, which is all about helping you create the life that you want, like build the life that you want. We've been talking about creating a structure that serves you. If you really are into cycle syncing and honoring your energy, that week for you is going to be really cool because I guide everyone towards creating structures and systems that actually work for them. And a lot of it is about honoring that energy and making sure that that structure to achieve the business, whatever you're trying to achieve, that is actually like good for you. And I'm really hands-on in the academy. So what else will we have there? Oh my God, so many resources. But the main thing here is, if you want to know more about how to honor your energy, harness the power of each phase, and really having a business or a life where you are honoring your energy most of the time instead of the other way around, let's go. I would love to see you inside of the academy. I heard that there is a button. In the beginning, I was sharing the link and nobody could click the link in the lives. But now I know better. There is like a button somewhere that where you can subscribe or you can upgrade. The button is there. So I would love to have you there. The academy is all about helping you build and live the life that you truly want, and not just like build things, but like feel good inside of the life that you truly want. I just saw a post. I don't know what who this post was about, but it was about how healing is not enough. Like you need to live your life and be happy with your life. And that's the thing about the academy, because healing is just the beginning. Like you've done the healing, and listen, I've been on this journey for like 11 years. I know how hard it is to heal and how long is the journey, but truly it's just the beginning because you learn the patterns and everything, but like what you gonna do about that? And for me, it's like creating that life that matches all of this work that you have been doing internally. And part of that work is honoring your energy. It's you navigating the world, knowing that you belong here. And just because you have cycles and you work differently, that doesn't mean that you are less. And that doesn't mean that you are going to achieve less. It's really funny because even the cycle syncing thing, even my partner started picking up. And I remember when we moved to this house, I'm living in a new place. He was telling me about, oh, actually, I want to follow your cycle because then I know when to rest. Like it's that powerful. Okay. So I am so appreciative of you joining me here. You know, it's a Friday. We are probably already tired, and it's such a blessing for me every time I get to connect with you. So thank you so much for joining me, Tammy. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Gaia. And thank you everyone who tuned in and out as they could. And thank you if you are catching this on the replay. I also appreciate you, you know. I have you in mind. So that was it for today's tea live session. I almost didn't have my tea, but okay. And I'm so looking forward to seeing you either in the Gentle Badass normal publication, inside of the academy, in the chats. If you have any questions, by the way, about the academy or anything else, go ahead and ask me. I'm more than open to talk to each and every one of you. Okay. Go ahead, be a badass, but also remember to be gentle with yourself. Okay. Bye.